it's Lisa with a couple of photos that I've been wanting to scrap for a long time. Actually, this one I've had, according to the date on the back, since 2012, and I just didn't have the companion photo with it until a few months ago, and it's not the best picture of my cat, but it conveys what the story that I want to tell. Our kitty knows a few tricks. Now, cats will learn tricks as long as there's something in it for them. If they're going to get the reward that they desire, they will learn how to do things. This first one, he used to be an indoor-outdoor, and when he was in the house, he was forever wanting to go through doors. So he's wanting to go to the basement, and whenever he would go to a door, we started teaching him to say please. And to say please, he would bring his paws up towards the doorknob, because he was kind of doing this naturally, and we required him to meow. And if he did those two things, we'd open the door. And he learned. And he would sit there and we'd say please. And he'd put his paws up and he would meow. And sometimes it was a little half-hearted, but he got his door opened. And he still does this to come back in now when he goes to the sunroom in cooler weather. This one, my husband started this business, and I just now noticed there's this red on the photo. There's nothing wrong with him. That's just something to do with the lighting on the photo, because I'm standing inside the house taking this through the kitchen window. He has his paw up on the window because he wants to be fed. He'll hop up on the table, stand in the window, and when we come by, he'll paw, and he waits until we put our hand up to meet his. And then he's put his order in, he hops down, and he waits by the door, and food arrives. So it's kind of like a drive-through window. He knows he just has to put his order in, and the food will come. There's one more trick that he does that I don't have a photograph of. It's really not something I can take a picture of. But there's, on the opposite side of our house from this, there's a sunroom. And he goes in there when it's raining or cold. And so what we've taught him is if we stand in the kitchen window and we say sunroom and point, then he will run around the house and meet us at the sunroom door, so we don't have to get out in the cold, and he gets in faster that way. And so there's a few tricks that our kitty knows, and he's 11 years old now. He's a good mouser. He's not the best bather in the world. He doesn't obsess about cleaning himself like most cats do. But he's a good kitty, and I wanted to do these pages about him. So I looked, because he's a gray and white cat, and I have all these red accents in the photos. Those were the colors I was going for. So I thought gray, white, burgundy, how hard can that be? Well, turns out it's kind of difficult. When I went to my paper drawers, of course I had cardstock. I've got a couple of sheets of gray cardstock. The reds, I didn't have a lot that wasn't real formal. So I had a couple of prints that I thought were a little bit more playful. And in the gray and white, I did not have much. I don't tend to buy neutrals very much. This one is sort of interesting. It's sort of pink instead of that burgundy, but I think it goes really well. I like that. I think I like it better than this paper. And I also have this collection. It's really a Valentine's Day collection, but it has those colors in there. And there actually may even be some stickers that I could use that would work here. Some of this paper is a little too frilly looking, but there are things that could work. Now there's a black and white polka dot that's kind of nice. So I have a few options with this. So I'm going to keep these papers out here. I have a stamp set that I've used probably on every cat page I've ever done from Inkadinkadoo. It has lots of cute little kitty cats, and I thought that I might use this one with Catitude and make my own little embellishment for the page. I know I've used some of these on other cat pages. I just haven't done a cat page in a long time, so I don't mind reusing that. And when I was trying to think about the layout, I thought, you know, I have a lot of layouts that I've done in the past with two photos. Let me go to my sketchbooks and see what I can find. And so I flipped through some of my sketchbooks, and actually this was the first one I did in 2013. And the two photo layout, they're in order by the number of photos. The one that I picked that I liked for this one is this layout. Now the two photos here are slightly different sizes. I may trim this down a little bit or I may not, but the photos here actually came out slightly different sizes for some reason. Anyway, so that's okay. So we would put those together, use one of these papers behind that, angle the title. I like that, the angling of the title. This gave me a place to put some of these embellishments, to take some of the stamped images and create some embellishments and still have some room for journaling and the different designer papers, because I don't have, this is not taking up, let's take a piece of this cardstock so you can see about how much space we need on a 12 by 12. We need the two photos, but I'm going to have quite a bit of room on the page to tell my story and to put the other elements that I want with just two photos on this layout. So this one allows me to use quite a bit of the designer paper and bring some color and pattern into the page. So let's select some of these papers. Just trying out some different ones behind the photos to whether I want the red or the gray or one of the patterns on which pattern I want on the bottom. As I'm playing with this, I figure out that the photos look the best on the red paper. It really makes them show up better. And I'd like to use one of the black and whites to do the little border strip between the layers. Now on the sketches, it tells me what size to cut all the papers. You can also measure the sketches. If you print them out, they print out 6 by 6. So you just double everything you measure. So if something measures 1 by 3 on the page, it's going to be 2 by 6. You just double everything to take the 6 by 6 printed one to convert it to 12 by 12 or use the measurements on the page. So I've decided on my papers, and I'm working on my little embellishment here. I didn't get a good impression that first time, so we'll stamp our cat with some gray Stampin' Up! Ink, and I started to do maybe a black ink for Catitude, and then I thought, you know, I need to bring in some more of that red. So before I stamped it, it kind of dawned on me what would look better, so I switched that off to a red ink. And the handiest one I had was archival ink. I wouldn't have had to use that, but it was just what was closest to my work table. And then I can trim this down. I want it to be in a circle. I think that will look good, and it goes with the embellishment design on the sketch. Although you could use, you know, any type of embellishment you want. I didn't do a great job cutting that, and I actually ended up re-stamping it because I didn't get it quite centered using those Creative Memories cutters. But I got my design there, and I'll end up matting it. And it really needs to go to the right of the photos because otherwise the little cat's going to be facing off the page. So what that means is that I have to flip the sketch. I need to put that corner, that trimmed off corner, on the right side instead of on the left, and just flip everything over. You can flip the sketches up and down. You can flip them back and forth. Now, this particular paper that I'm folding back is not something that the back side works with the front. So I'm going to trim that off, and I'm going to use a piece of the black and white polka dot paper, and I'll take that to the paper trimmer and trim it down. And if you folded it back up, it wouldn't fold perfectly into that corner because I didn't want too much of it down on the main part of the page, but it gives you that illusion. And I'm filling in that little space, since it's cardstock up there, it's a little bit boring, with some more stamping using the little paw stamp. So it adds just another cute cat aspect to it. And I'm doing this because I'm not going to use that corner for the title. My title is going to be a little bit too large, I think, to fit in that corner, but I've got plenty of space up at the top. What I ran out of room for was journaling. I have a lot of journaling, and so that's going to take up a lot of the room on the bottom of the page, and I'm not going to use the other embellishments that are on the sketch. My title will be Say Please, and that kind of goes with both of the little tricks that are indicated here. And I've got some different letters. These are all Basic Gray letters. I love these letters because you get tons of them. Whereas Basic Gray's out of business, and I think they kind of stopped doing these a long time ago anyway, but I still have quite a few sets of them, and I hadn't used this gray one very much.
So I've got plenty of vowels, and I can put say please in there. And I've got everything in place. I do feel like the bottom of the page needs something since I don't have all those photographs, so I'm adding some twine, wrapping it around multiple times, and I'm going to tie a bow underneath the little cat embellishment. And that gets us all the elements. You'll find links in the description for where to find the sketchbooks if you're interested in those.
So let's have a look at our sketch. We flipped it, and so horizontally, so that the title, or the folded over section, fake folded over section, is on this side. But instead of putting the title there, I went ahead and put the title in all of this space above the two photos. I have my embellishment now on the right. I needed more room for journaling, so I dropped those embellishments, but I did add this little bit of twine to kind of add a little something more interesting, a little more texture, and a little bit more to balance the right side of the page. So we have a cute say please page that tells the story of our kitty and his tricks. And either he is well trained or his humans are well trained. I think it might be the latter. He gets what he wants. He just has to do a little bit of work for it, but not much. Because if he puts that paw up in the window, he's going to get fed. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and liked how this sketch came out in a new type of page. So stay tuned, and hopefully there'll be some more videos coming along as I continue to do pages. I am closing in on 10,000 subscribers, and I'm really, really appreciative of all of your comments and watching my videos. Thanks again. Bye.